So I want to speak about Virtua Fighter 6 in this video, as well as my thoughts on Tekken 8, of course. But, when I first saw this gameplay reveal, it's not even really gameplay, because at the bottom of the video, you can see it says pre-development in-engine footage, not actual gameplay. But when you just look at the sheer technical mastery of what's happening in this video. Just everything from the ground, the physique, the clothing, how the dirt reacts, the choreography, the moves, the way in which they block, counter, move, sidestep, everything. This game, I'm keeping my fingers crossed that this game will be something that it'll be a great alternative for people that want something other than Tekken, because this game, Virtua Fighter, has always been, in my opinion, the more difficult game out of the two. Talking about Tekken. Tekken, for me, is basically easy mode. Virtua Fighter has always been that game that focused and prioritized actual combat for the most part, even down to how the enemy guards. So I just feel that when I look at Virtua Fighter as a whole, for me, it is the superior game. Now, I don't have too much of... I have a love-hate relationship with Tekken. I've been playing that franchise for 30 years. And I've only dabbled in Virtua Fighter. I had the good fortune of getting to know some of, I would say, probably the best Virtua Fighter players, or among the best. Here in New York, you had a guy named Rodney. I don't know what his gaming handle would have been, but I would guess he's one of the best Akira players. Another player named Denkai. What's this guy's name? Adam Yuki, I think that was his name. And then another guy named Trevor, all New York. Well, I don't know if they still live in New York, but, years ago, I kind of, I played them. Of course, I got completely destroyed. But watching them play each other and just high-level Virtua Fighter matches that I would find on YouTube, I can see the technical mastery. I can see the skill and the difficulty of that game, of that franchise. And as a lifelong Tekken player that has played the game at the highest level, I can definitely say that, yeah, Virtua Fighter 1000% requires more effort than Tekken ever will. I think it's important to understand the history of fighting games in this respect, where you have Street Fighter and Tekken. Those to me were always the easy fighting games. And then on the other side, you had King of Fighters and Virtua Fighter. And so I guess what I'm trying to say is Street Fighter was the easy mode to King of Fighters, and Tekken was the easy mode to Virtua Fighter. And so it doesn't surprise me that here in the United States, that both Street Fighter and Tekken are hugely popular, whereas King of Fighters and Virtua Fighter are more popular elsewhere. And I feel that the reason for that is, quite frankly, the majority of people in America, and I hate to say it, collectively prefer easy shit. Things that require a lot of effort, a a lot of times, we tend to not want to do. So this is the reason why Street Fighter became so popular, because it's a far easier game than King of Fighters. And this is the reason why Tekken became so popular, because it's an easier game. You can pick up and play. You can get good very, very fast. You can beat players that are clearly above you. You have a higher chance of having success in that game. Whereas in Virtua Fighter, it's a totally different world, and I've seen that firsthand with my little experience in the game, and just seeing like where Tekken is and has been going, even with Tekken 6, when they doubled down on that rage mode. And then in Tekken 7, they brought in the rage art, which is basically just a comeback mechanic to reward a player who is getting his ass beat. But we're going to reward you a move that's going to completely rob the round, potentially, from the player that was the better player. And in Tekken 8, they just they doubled and tripled down on that. And seeing that footage of Virtua Fighter, I can literally look at that over and over and over again, because it gives me hope that I can look forward to something that is rooted in actual combat, and not just something that it's just a whole lot of extra flash, a lot of gimmicks, a character that's sprouting wings like Clive and just chucking plasma at you. I'm at the point now where if Virtua Fighter 6 sticks the landing, if they do well and they deliver on what I think they're going for, I think I'm just going to go to Virtua Fighter and I'm not going to look back. Of course, if Namco were to ever bring in my character, Lei Wulong, I would definitely be excited. I'd be happy. But overall, I'm just getting tired of the dumbing down of Tekken. Tekken was already an easy game to begin with. But now they just went like whatever skill, whatever difficulty certain characters required in Tekken was stripped away. Basically, Namco wants the game to be accessible to everybody, irregardless of it may turn off legacy players like myself that spent damn near a lifetime mastering a certain character, Lei Wulong, and only to go and pay my dues in the competitive scene, travel across the United States, up and down the Eastern Seaboard, representing my character for years and years, gained a little bit of a following, but didn't really have a lot of tournament success because they created a character that required a lot of the player. And I'm using this character against players that are using brain dead, broken characters that a low level AI could make effective. And sure, I could have, went to another character and had better success, but it just really, it turned me off. And my limited time that I did play Virtua Fighter, I never felt like when I lost in that game, I never felt like I got cheated. Like if I lost to somebody in Virtua Fighter, for the most part, I mean, outside of the ring outs, nobody likes those. But outside of the ring outs, I just felt like I got outplayed, legitimately. In Tekken, and specifically Tekken 8, most of the time, I feel like I just get cheated. I feel like I get robbed. It's very rare that I've played somebody in Tekken 8 where I can say to myself, you know what? I got. That guy, good shit. Most of the time, it's me beating someone's ass from one end of the screen to the next, using my frame data, using my mix-ups, reacting defensively to things, and then here they are, 15% health left or less, and now I have to completely stop my momentum. I have to abandon my entire strategy because I have to say, oh wait, he has rage. He might rage art me. There's no counterplay to it. There's nothing I can do to really bait it out aside from maybe I can dash at them and hopefully they might react and do it. But if they're holding on to it, I don't know when they're going to let it go. I can throw a jab. I can go and grab them. Rage art, dead. And then I have to wait. I have to watch the stupid rage art animation and lose a round that I earned and got fucked out of. And now I have to somehow continue with the match in round 2, knowing full well I should have won round 1. And then I'm like, fuck this. And, and I just see it getting worse. So when I look at the announcement of Virtua Fighter 6, I'm like, look, this is a game, if they do it well, this is a game I feel fighting game players like myself that appreciate and recognize actual skill, we are going to say deuces to Tekken, and we're going to go and play a real fighting game. And I cannot wait until Virtua Fighter 6 comes out. If I had to guess, I don't expect this game to be released this year. I would say maybe 2026 because based on that gameplay trailer that we've all seen, it clearly says it's pre-development in-engine footage, not actual gameplay. So it makes me wonder what of that footage is going to be real. The actual animations, the combat, the move to move action, is any of that going to translate into the real game? Or is it just going to be maybe the backgrounds, the character models? This is what we can expect, but the move to move action may not be the same. That is what I'm really looking forward to learning, because as far as I'm concerned, even if Virtua Fighter 6 can deliver half of what I just seen and what I showed at the beginning of this video, it is enough for me to say I'm out when it comes to Tekken. Tekken is literally just made for scrubs at this point. The game was designed with scrubs, noobs, beginner, whatever word you are comfortable with. It was designed with that in mind. Tekken 8 was not designed for the skilled player. It was not. In my view, Harada, when creating this game and going on record and saying that we want Tekken 8, the focal point will be aggression. And I've said this in a prior video, and I think I've even said it in this video. How are you going to have a game where you're focused on aggression when you have a mechanic that forces the aggressor to halt their aggression out of fear of the person getting mauled, that they would activate a move that you can't do nothing to, really, that will take 45 to 50% of health. So it really pisses me off, and I just really hope that Virtua Fighter 6 delivers, because I've never known Virtua Fighter to have a comeback mechanic. I don't remember. I played Virtua Fighter 2 for a bit. I played Virtua Fighter 3 in the arcades for a little while. The sidestep button threw me off. VF4 Evo, I think it was called. I think it was called Virtua Fighter 4 Evolution. I played the hell out of that game. I love the customization. I love the difficulty. In fact, I remember playing that game. Uh, Apparently, I think they had actual skilled Virtua Fighter players playtest the game, and there was an option in that game, if I'm not recall, where I think that you can watch replays of other players, and they were actual skilled Virtua Fighter players. I remember that. And then when Virtua Fighter 5 came out, I played that heavy. I really loved Kage, the ninja, and I fell in love with Go, the judo character. I like Brad Burns as well, but one of my close friends, he actually favored Brad and Wolf, and we had amazing sessions. And then I had this other friend. He's more of a tier whore, but he used Pi, and when the three of us would get together, it was some of the best sessions I've had. And then when we would go and switch to play Tekken, it was like it just bullshit, because Virtua Fighter was always the more skillfully demanding game. It felt good when you won. It didn't feel too bad when you lost, because you felt like, okay, I can see how I lost. It's good shit. But again, like I said with Tekken, it just feels like you just get robbed in that game. I mean, there are, not in all cases, but in most cases, you just feel like you just got screwed over. Characters that should be nerfed are like literally left to their own devices. Guest characters that are being brought in that fundamentally break the actual mechanic of Tekken, where all the legacy characters are bound by specific rules, but then you bring in these guest characters like Akuma, Noctis, Clive, all these bullshit characters that can throw fireballs, they can fly, they can dive kick. And here you are using a regular Tekken character, and it's like you're bound by the rules in Tekken. It's bullshit. But I get it. That's, the reason why they do this, to bolster sales, to get more money, and I understand that. But, when I look at the current state of fighting games in general, it's literally, they're made for scrubs. They're literally made in mind for noobs, because you are rewarding players not based on their skill. You're rewarding players by giving them a comeback mechanic to give them a fighting chance. Well, here's an idea. Why don't they just get better? Why don't they just get good? Spend more time in practice mode instead of playing ranked. Learn the game. Practice. But instead they hop online, probably minutes after watching a YouTube video of some player using the character they're using, X-copying a high damage combo, and then they just go, they take off with that. Like, it really bothers me, so I really, really hope that Virtua Fighter 6 delivers. I really hope, because I am getting so sick of Tekken 8. I am getting so sick of knowing full well I'm the one that's working the hardest when I'm playing against somebody online. When they're using King, Jin, all these bullshit fucking characters that barely require 2 brain cells to even make effective. And here I am. Now, of course, it is my choice. I'm using Raven, just much like how it was my choice to be a Lei player and to focus on Lei throughout my Tekken, I guess, career. Losing to players that 80% of the time, I lost to players that were beneath me in skill and ability. Yeah, I fucking said, I'll say it again. It's a pop off. Most of the people I played against in Tekken, Tekken 4, Tekken 5, Tekken 6, Tekken Tag Tournament 2, Tekken Tag 1, Tekken 7, and now Tekken 8, most of the players that I lose to are players that I'm better than, but because I'm using a more skillfully demanding character, I end up losing. And the funny thing is, if I were to invest that same amount of time and effort into learning one of those higher level characters, many of those players wouldn't even get a round off of me. So do you understand how that can feel when you know deep down that you're more losing to the character than the actual player? Because you know, like, okay, well, if I were to just use a fucking top tier, then what would you have over me? And I've rarely felt like that whenever I play Virtua Fighter. Like I said, I focused on Go, I focused on Kage, and I really did, and I still love Leifei. And I heard that he was top tier. Because every game, doesn't matter what game, you're gonna have your tiers. You're gonna have your low tier, your high tier, your mid tier characters. But I just feel like the system of Virtua Fighter was just so much better. Like sidesteps actually work. It felt like you can actually step moves. Moves didn't track. Fucking bullshit. Like for instance, if you're sidestepping to your left and there's a move that you're stepping that is a linear move, it doesn't matter if it's coming from the left arm or the right arm. It is a straightforward move. In Tekken, it'll still track you. What? Like, in Tekken, this is the thing that's funny to me. You can have a character like Law, right? A character like Law. And Law, another broken, brain-dead character, he can do his slide. Now, let's analyze this, right? A slide. A slide, it's a linear move, right? Why is it in Tekken, it seems like you cannot sidestep a slide? He'll still clip you as you're sidestepping and then get a guaranteed follow-up. So now that becomes the brain-dead flowchart that every Law player in the history of Tekken ran is crouch dash, like you'll see them like this, crouch dash, slide, do this, crouch dash, while standing 2. Like, it's bullshit. It's a strategy that should never work, but because the way the game of Tekken has always been, it boggles my mind. If that same flowchart was in Virtua Fighter, it'd be killed off. Because why? Because the player could just simply sidestep both options, either direction, no problem. No problem. But in Tekken, it tracks. So it's just very, very frustrating to me. And I'm just like, man, I don't know what any of you feel. Maybe the 4 of you that's probably still watching this video and me ranting. But yeah, I'm just so looking forward to Virtua Fighter. I can't say it enough. I know I'm kind of repeating myself at this point. But yeah, I think I'll cut off here. And if I get 20 views on this video, it'll be great. But anyway, take care. And I will definitely be reporting more on Virtua Fighter as more news is revealed. Peace.